Welcome back to the More Sports Please podcast. I'm your co-host. We're here with a special update of the free agency. We're going to really try to get one episode out each week of free agency because there's a lot of free agency news and we don't want to pile up all of it into one big episode. It's not mandatory for all three of us to be here, so that some episodes might just have two of us. One might just be one. Jacob could come on and just talk, Gavin or I, if we can't make it. But and then we'll obviously have a normal update. But I wanted to get that out of the way. Introduce yourselves, your co-hosts again. We're back with the same people, as always, the OGs.
I'm Gavin.
It's Jacob, Angry Bungles fan here today.
Yeah.
Good boy.
There's a thing I want to do every day with these free agency podcasts. I'll title this different probably. It'll be More Sports Plays Podcast NFL Free Agency Episode 1 or something like that. But I want to do something different where we have a winner, two winners, and two loser teams of each day. So after we do all the free agency, we'll break it down and who we think it is. I think the winners are obvious. Probably the team that signed literally 7 players today. But
Perhaps.
we're going to go ahead and get into this because we're going to try to keep it short and simple. We already talked about Dak. Ryan Fitzpatrick. We're going to go positions. We're starting off with QB. Ryan Fitzpatrick signs a 1-year deal for $10 million with Washington Football Team.
Actually didn't see that.
You
Dang.
didn't?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That happened a little bit ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
right before it was right before midnight. Great for him. I figured he would sign a 1 year somewhere. He's probably on his last couple legs, but I think
I don't want to be the NFC East.
Understandable. I think
This-
it's a good fit.
this gives him the best shot to make playoffs I think he's ever had.
I can't argue with that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
We'll see how he fits in that scheme.
Although he might not even start with Taylor Heineke on that 2-year deal for 4.75.
True.
So
I'm seeing a quarterback competition coming up here soon, or maybe
I-
they want to pay him $10 million to just be a mentor, though.
yeah, you're
You know?
probably right. He might start and mentor Taylor Heineke, kind of like take him under his wing kind of thing. But
I still think that Taylor Heineke is kind of just that project quarterback as is anyway. Like they want him to come in and start, and then if they can develop Heineke a little bit, then great. Otherwise, I mean, he's just kind of just an extra thing to have, sort of.
right.
If it works, it works.
We already talked about Newton, Heineke. Jameis Winston signs a 1-year deal, $12 million deal with the Saints again. He re-signed with the Saints. I don't think we talked about Taysom Hill's contract because that dropped yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah.
But isn't that just basically a cap move?
They moved his cap. It's a huge contract for 4 years, but I think 2 of those last 2 years are voidable years. So
I think it's every year after this year.
Yeah.
3. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the Saints went from negative $90 million to being under the cap. They do it every year, and it astounds me.
The cap isn't real at this point. I don't even-
No, yeah, judging, yeah, it's so weird. Other than that, no other quarterback I think signed. Running backs, Aaron Jones is back with Green Bay. Not sure if we talked about that on the last one because I think that dropped a couple days ago.
No, it dropped today, right?
Either early today or some.
I think it was yesterday.
It was yesterday. Yeah.
4-year, $48 million deal. Good for Aaron Jones. He deserves it. I would have loved to have him on Pittsburgh, but we don't have the cap space for him.
Good for Aaron Jones. Terrible move by the Packers.
Absolutely.
You think so?
Absolutely.
They
I
drafted
think
a running back last year, and for what?
You got a point.
To open another running back?
Yeah, you got a point.
And they got other needs to address, and instead they're just holding on to Aaron Jones. Good for him. I mean, he got the bag, but
Yeah. You just don't pay running backs, man. You don't.
Right. We talked about Mark Ingram. Jeff Wilson re-signs with the Niners. I'm not sure we talked about him. A really underrated running back move that the Jaguars pulled today, signing Carlos Hyde to that 2-year, $6 million deal. I think if anybody can get Carlos Hyde to above average running back, it's Urban Meyer, who knows him really well.
We'll see.
Honestly,
He's-
yeah. I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
That he was with him.
I forget Urban Meyer's the Jags coach half the time.
I do too.
Me too.
Just weird.
Also, I will not puke in this podcast. If anybody caught that in the last one,
Hey, don't knock on wood right now.
I don't have any. I knocked on new wood.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Devontae Booker signs with the Giants on a 2-year, $6 million deal. Ty Montgomery with the Saints on a 1-year. I'm just kind of go through all the names. Dontrell Hillard re-signs with the Texans on a 1-year. Dwayne Washington re-signs with the Saints on a 1-year. Fullbacks, Kyle Juszczyk. That one. Re-signs with the 49ers on a 5-year, $27 million deal. Obviously, he's the best fullback in the game.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, there's
he got his bag.
competition, honestly.
Moving on to the wide receivers, we'll kind of spend the most, I think, on this part. Robinson Godwin tagged, obviously. A lot of strange moves today with receivers, in my opinion, because you got two best guys in Kenny Golladay and Juju after midnight on the East Coast that are still free agents. Guys like Corey Davis signed a 3-year, $37 million deal. If Corey Davis is getting paid 3-year for $37 million, Kenny Golladay and Juju are about to make some bank.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that was with the Jets. I don't know if I mentioned that, but that rules out Juju going to the Jets because they got Corey Davis. But I heard rumors that the Vegas Raiders and the San Francisco 49ers are in touch with Juju. That's what my source says.
Who's your source, huh?
Trust me, bro. I'm just kidding. Steelers Twitter is my source, honestly. It usually turns out to be pretty true.
Oh, it's literally the Falcons. Sorry.
It's literally the Falcons. Another surprise. Belichick is not good when it comes to wide receivers. Nelson Aguilar signs a 2-year deal with New England for $26 million deal. He's getting paid, as another person we'll talk about later, the same deal as Yannick Ngakoue in Vegas that we'll talk about later. But, I mean, Bill, you've got plenty of money. Guys like, I get it. Nelson isn't that old, but he's kind of hit that like middle ground. But you've still got guys like T.Y. Hilton that's a free agent, Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, Marvin Jones, Will Fuller, Juju, Kenny Golladay. At that time, Corey Davis was still one. Sammy Watkins. I mean, Danny Amendola, you could bring him back. Cordell Patterson, bring him back. Des Bryant, John Ross. You have Mohamed Sanu. You have a lot of guys, in my opinion, that are better than Nelson Aguilar. I get it. He had a good year in Vegas, so he might have proved himself. He might have just shown that those off years in Philly were not his fault.
He's too inconsistent to be getting paid that much, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think they're going to try to work Edelman more into the slot now that they've got Aguilar. So Aguilar's technically going to be the number one guy.
That's not going to work out.
It's
That's not going to work out for sure. I have seen that.
Unless they try to make N'Keal Harry that number one guy, but I think ultimately New England's trying to work Julian Edelman back in the slot and get two deep threats on the outside. And I know New England's getting a lot of calls about N'Keal Harry, who has kind of turned out to be a bust a little bit. I had a lot of high hopes for him, but he's not panned out to anywhere he should have been.
Right. Not what they expected or hoped for, at least.
Right. Tyrell Williams signs with the Lions on a 1-year, $4 million. Jamal Agnew signs a 3-year, $21 million deal with the Jaguars. Special teamer in Jacksonville. Andre Roberts is expected. A lot of these say signed. This one says expected. Expected to sign with Texans on a 2-year, $6 million deal. Kendrick Bourne. I talked to a Patriots fan about this. He said he really liked this signing and really liked this guy. Signs with New England Patriots on a 3-year, $22 million deal. The Patriots guy being Joseph. Obviously, he wasn't a fan of Nelson Aguilar, but
yeah, I like the Kendrick Bourne signing. I think he's one of the most. I think a lot of those guys in that San Francisco receiver core kind of underrated. Like I think last year, if they were like to full strength, and maybe if Jimmy G wasn't the quarterback, they'd have been like sneakily one of the better wide receiver cores in the NFL. And I think Kendrick Bourne's a pretty good part of that.
I think so
that's
too.
a good signing.
Noah Brown resigns with the Cowboys. Philip Dorsett is in Jacksonville on a 1-year deal. Doesn't say how much, but it's good to see Philip Dorsett coming back. Tight ends. Arguably one of the biggest signings of the day. Jonnu Smith signs a 4-year, $50 million deal with the New England Patriots. They finally get that Gronk replacement back. I get it. Jonnu Smith is Joe. Am I saying his name right?
Jonnu.
Okay. Jonnu Smith isn't Gronk, but
No.
he's closer to Gronk than guys they've had in the past recently.
Yes, for sure.
Jonnu Smith's probably like a top 5 tight end in the NFL
I think
right
so
now.
too.
For sure.
And it's all the only thing that's going to rest on the New England shoulders this year is how good is Cam Newton going to play? Because this team, they're getting a lot of people back from opting out. They just signed a lot. They just signed a linebacker and Matthew Judon we'll get into later. They're pulling in weapons. It's just going to depend on what Cam Newton shows up.
I think they're really going to regret signing Cam Newton.
I think they're going to regret Newton, and I still think I really still think they're at least one offensive piece away. I still think they need that good X receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too. Gronk resigns with the Bucks on a 1-year deal. Josh Hill signs with the Lions on a 1-year deal. Eric Tomlinson resigns with the Ravens on a 1-year deal. Keithan Carter signs with the Dolphins on a 3-year deal. Offensive tackles, Darrell Williams signs with the Bills on a 3-year, $24 million deal. Former Steeler Matt Filer signs with the Chargers on a 3-year, $21 million deal. The Chargers are overpaying a guy who is fat. Matt Filer was not good last year. So I'm not mad that he's gone. Cam Irving signs with the Panthers on a 2-year, $10 million deal. Kendall Lamb signs with the Titans on a 2-year, $8.5 million. James Hurst resigns with the Saints on a 3-year, $9 million deal. Offensive guards, Joe Thuney, arguably one of the other bigger signings, signed with the Chiefs on a 5-year, $80 million deal. And this is where I completely believe you that the salary cap does not exist. How are you the Chiefs and give a guy 5-year for $80 million?
I mean, you got one. I just want to say the salary cap it's bonkers and stupid. You got one team that's paying a guy $500 million over the next 10 years. You got one team that's 6th in the salary cap space. Who makes the move? The team that's making the giant payments.
They just want to win.
Was so mad.
I
know they do. Hats off to Thuney. He got paid. Hats off to the Chiefs. They're continuing to be the new fucking evil empire of the NFL. But God, I was so mad, dude.
If it makes you feel any better, the Browns really haven't won any of the things they've been in on either. Because they've been rumored.
I get that. That's fine, but go ahead.
No, they've been rumored and linked with a lot of good players, and they've only gotten one.
See, that's I get that, but I think the Browns are already in a pretty good spot. That's the thing. The Browns are in pretty good shape, and they need to continue to develop and fill in the couple remaining holes they need to in order to do that, or to get the team over the top. The Bengals at the same time have been the doormat of the AFC North for the last 3 years. Everyone, until the signing of Hendrickson a little bit ago, which I know we'll get into that eventually. Until that signing hit, everyone else in the division at least signed somebody, and we had done nothing.
Right.
You have to make improvements for your team to be able to beat the teams in your division. Everyone else made moves. Cincinnati did nothing. And sorry, my video keeps freezing.
You're good.
Silly boy.
Hello?
Hi. We're here.
On my screen, we just see you going.
Sorry, my video keeps freezing, so I didn't know what happened. But God, I was so pissed because there's been. I don't mean to go on a tangent, but there's been a whole thing where this offseason they've been hyping it up, saying, "Oh, this new stripes. We're changing the culture. We're going to do everything different." And I know that I'm trying not to get too worked up over it because Bengals Twitter was pissed today, dude. They were so mad. But I think it's just kind of an issue of they're saying, we're going to change the culture. We're making moves to try to be better. And it's like day one signings, the big names, they still haven't really made much of a splash, and it's just kind of making it hard for people to believe. Like, are you really? Because you've seen these top tier guys that could have made an immediate impact, and they've gone to different teams.
Yeah, you got
I
a
don't
point.
know. It just, I was a lot more angry earlier today, and Bengals Twitter is still really mad right now. I'm trying to cool a little bit because I'm like, all right, we still got time. There's still other. I looked at the free agent list. There's more guys that'd be okay with signing in Cincinnati to go, but it's still just kind of annoying to be like seeing us still not make moves right out the gate.
I get you.
But anyways, that's all. That's my tangent for right now. I just was so pissed off earlier today.
And I feel you with the signing because at one point our only signing was our owner. We had extended our owner we had extended our owner's contract through 1 year. So at one point our only signing was our owner.
Sorry, I forgot. Ahead of time we re-signed Brandon Allen. All right, so we got our backup. We got that taken care of.
You got your starter taken care of.
Yeah.
Kevin Zeitler signs with the Ravens on a 3-year, $22 million deal. Joe Feliciano signs with the Bills on a 3-year, $17 million deal. Pat signs with the Panthers on a 3-year, $13.5 million deal. Not even going to try to pronounce his last. I'll try. Elephine,
Elephant.
Elflein.
I don't know him. I don't remember him at all.
Tyler Shantley resigns with the Jags. Justin McCrae's with the Texans on a 2-year, $4 million deal, and Rashad Hill resigns with the Vikings. Centers, Corey Lindsey signs with the Chargers on a 5-year, $62 million deal. Another big signing, I think, which will help out the Chargers a lot in protecting Justin Herbert. They're really trying to beef that O-line. Speaking of Justin Britt signs with the Texans on a 1-year, $33.2 million deal. I know we talked about BJ Finney. That's the only name I can remember in the last episode. A lot of defensive ends are gone. Leonard Williams, obviously franchise head. Trey Hendrickson signs with the Bengals on a 4-year, $60 million deal.
Yeah.
I hate this signing.
I'm not a fan.
Really?
Honestly, no. Not a huge fan. Let me clarify. In a vacuum, it's a good signing, I think. I think in a vacuum with just Bengals sign Trey Hendrickson, like, all right, pretty good. Fantastic, because he came second in sacks. I haven't really watched him, so I don't know for sure. I know he came second in sacks, but I heard someone say a lot of it was cleanup or like missed blocking assignments, so I don't know for sure on that. But from what I heard with a lot of people, this was kind of a lateral move with Carl Lawson. Like, Carl Lawson's ceiling is kind of similar to what we'd be getting with Trey Hendrickson. According to the eye test, not so much on the stat sheet, but like game time impact. And we paid Hendrickson a lot more than Lawson's getting paid by the Jets.
Yeah, I agree to a point, but I think Trey Hendrickson has a higher ceiling than Carl Lawson, in my opinion. I think he's a lot better than Carl Lawson, which is why I hate this signing, because I feel like you're adding a better defensive lineman to that defense who is going to be able to get past the Steelers' O-line that has no identity right now.
I don't know. I'm hoping so, but it's just kind of one of those things where it was like, from what I'm understanding, I haven't watched much of his tape, admittedly.
You guys might see my cat in a second.
You're gonna
see the tail for sure.
But but yeah, from what I'm understanding, it's kind of one of those things of like, it kind of sucks to see our guys kind of pay a lot more for a lateral move for someone who is outside the organization too. Like, to a certain degree, it's nice to have someone who's just already been there, you know. But
but yeah, I see where you're going, but I don't see it as much of a lateral move as much as more as a step up, in my opinion.
I hope.
but
I hope. I like Lawson personally. Just him as a player as well.
He's bad.
Okay.
but I mean that I'm not
guy,
sure you guys are overpaying him as much as I think you valued Carl Lawson more than Hendrickson because you have seen Lawson more, and I just think he's getting paid lower for a reason. I think Hendrickson's just a better player.
I think the biggest concern with Lawson has been injuries to a certain degree. He got banged up a lot.
That'll do it.
But I don't know. To be fair, I am kind of judging my reaction based off of what I'm seeing from people on Twitter and like some of the analysts that I've kind of trusted. And one of the guys that's like looked into it, he's like, I don't think this was a good move with what we did with Lawson.
Who was it? Who said it?
Bengals NFL. Bengals _NFL.
at real Bengals.
I don't know about this one.
At official Bengals. Another signing, Yannick Ngakoue signs with the Raiders on a 2-year, $26 million deal. Good. Get him out of Baltimore. I was going to say this. As much as I hate to say it, Cleveland is going to be right now, on paper, they look better than the rest of the teams. Because Cincy's taken an L by losing a lot of people. Pittsburgh's taken an L by losing a lot of people, and so is Baltimore. But I think the factor that stands out between two of those three teams is between Baltimore and Pittsburgh, they have lost people before and been able to rebound and show that, hey, we can do good things without key players and being able to just fit people in there. I'm not sure that's kind of the same way in Cincinnati. It might be changing the tide with Burrow there now, but I think Pittsburgh and Baltimore have really shown that we can develop good players as much as Pittsburgh's done with receivers. We can develop good players and still be compatible or still be can still compete. And the big thing is Steelers defense, other than Bud Dupree and maybe Mike Hilton, haven't taken a big hit yet. But we'll continue. J.J. Watt, we already talked about that. Carl Lawson signs with the Jets on a 3-year, $45 million deal. Like you said, we touched on that. Romeo Okawara signs with the Lions on a 3-year, $39 million deal. Mario Edwards with the Bears on a 3-year, $11.5 million deal. Roy Robertson Harris signs with the Jags on a 3-year, $24 million deal. Stephen Welf-Early signs with the Vikings on a 1-year, $2.5 million. Henry Anderson, kind of a under-the-radar signing for New England, signs with the Patriots on a 2-year, $7.5 million deal. Dwayne Smote re-signs with the Jags on a 2-year, $14 million deal. Dietrich Wise re-signs with the Patriots on a 4-year, $30 million deal. That's a lot of money for Dietrich Wise. Defensive tackles, Dalvin Thompson with the Vikings on a 2-year, $22 million deal. Davin Gotchwick, go Tigers is how it's spelled. Signs with the Patriots on a 2-year, $16 million deal. Shelby Harris resigns with Denver on a 3-year, $27 million deal. Danico Autry signs with the Titans on a 3-year, $21.5 million deal. Malik Collins signs with the Texans on a 1-year, $6 million deal. David Irving is back with the Raiders. Vincent Taylor's with the Texans. Austin Johnson's back with the Giants. And Jacob Tuati Mariner, I think we mentioned him because I butchered the fuck out of his name. Linebackers, arguably the biggest signings of the day in this position all around. Shaq Barrett is back with the Bucks for a 4-year, $68 million deal. And he's not the highest paid linebacker out of all these. Just remember that.
Crazy.
Levante David, we already covered that. I'll get to this next or later after we do a run through all these top ones. Matt Milano, we got to him. Mario, almost said Mario Judah. Matt
Judah.
Hey, where the fuck is Mario Judah? Matt Judon signs with the Patriots on a 4-year, $56 million deal. A lot of people call him the poor guy's Bud Dupree, but I'm just glad he's out of Baltimore and in New England. And speaking of Bud Dupree, signs with the Titans on a 5-year, $82.5 million deal. That's crazy. That's a lot of money, and Titans better hope he hits because there was no way we were giving him that much.
Yeah. Definitely.
I'm
That's
happy.
a big chunk of change.
Yeah, it is. I'm happy for him. He deserves it, but if he doesn't pan out, it's gonna look bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The Rams re-signed Leonard Floyd for 4 years, $64 million deal. Christian Kirk signs with the Texans on a 4-year $4 million on 1 year. Samson Mbukam. Samson Mbukam.
Use your words.
Signs with the 49ers on a 2-year, $12 million deal. Marcus Golden re-signs with the Cardinals on a 2-year, $9 million deal. Jared Davis signs with the Jets. Fernell McPhee re-signs with the Ravens. We already talked about a lot of these guys. Kevin Pierre-Louis signs with the Texans. Nick Virgil signs with the Vikings. Linebacker Joe Thomas signs with the Texans. Tanner Valuju re-signs with the Cardinals. Kevin Minter signs with the Bucks. Cornerbacks. Emmanuel Mosley re-signs with the 49ers on a 2-year $1 million deal. Jason Verrett re-signs with the 49ers. Ronald Darby signs with the Broncos on a 3-year $30 million deal. Michael Davis. Ronald, he was a football team last year, right?
He was in the football team.
Okay. I was gonna say.
Sorry. I thought you were asking, was he on a football team last year?
No, he was in Washington last year.
He's just kind of fast, and that's it, really. Ronald Darby, he's all right.
Michael Davis is re-signs with the Chargers on a 3-year, $25 million deal. Cameron Sutton, I love this signing. Re-signs with the Steelers on a 2-year, $9 million deal. Bringing him back, unfortunately means Mike Hilton's probably not coming back because there were 2 slot corners, and bringing Cameron Sutton in means we don't really have a need for Mike Hilton, I guess. But it'll be interesting to see where Mike Hilton goes. Robert Alford resigns with the Cardinals on a 1-year deal. Robert Alford. Justin Bethel resigns with the Patriots on a 3-year, $6 million deal. Vernon Hargraves, Texans. Safeties. John Johnson signs with the Browns.
Remember that the Eagles were going to get John Johnson all day, and then he signed with the Browns.
Signs with the Browns on a 3-year, $33 million deal. This just makes the Browns better, but he's still the 3rd best safety in the North behind Minka and Jesse Bates, in my opinion. But I don't know. It coming from the Rams, I don't know. Previous years have shown when Rams players hit free agency, they kind of. So.
Yeah. We'll see if they try to continue.
Yeah. Rayshon Jenkins, signs with the Jags on a 4-year deal. That's just what it says. Green Goblin, no longer Green Goblin. Jalen Mills signs with the Patriots on a 4-year, $24 million deal.
No, the Green Goblin. I'm going to miss him. He has such a big personality on that defense.
No more green hair. Now he goes red.
He was a above average player, I think. It depends. He had his ups and his downs, but I'm glad to see him get paid.
Joseph made a comment with this. He didn't really understand the signing. Because he kind of plays cornerback and safety, but I don't think that's a big need for anything there in New England, aside for safety, maybe. But
yeah, he safety mostly last year.
He made the comment, if he plays corner, this could be a sign of New England trying to trade Stephon Gilmore for
maybe
a draft pick. But I think Jalen Mills is still kind of converting to safety.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of wants to play that role.
Too, so.
Okay.
That's my initial thought with it. I would think that would be what they do.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's going to try to do, because I don't know who plays aside Devin McCourty, because I don't know if Jason retired, I'm pretty sure, or no, vice versa. But Rudy Ford signs with the Jags on a 2-year, $4.2 million deal. Terrence Brooks signs with the Texans on a 1-year, $2 million deal. Kickers. Dustin Hopkins and Carrillo Santos back with the Bears, and Dustin Hopkins back with Washington. And then punters and long snappers. Yeah. I do want to make this point out. There will be a signing announced tomorrow. maybe even late in the night tonight or early tomorrow morning, of Zach Banner. He posted on Twitter, he said, "I'm shutting down all social media until I get a new contract." Well, he came back. It was about 10 o'clock at night. So he obviously got a contract somewhere. So fingers crossed that it is Pittsburgh, because we need the Hulk back.
So,
More details on Cameron Sutton's. He got 2 years, $9 million, $30.5 million guaranteed, $3.5 million signing bonus, salaries of $1 million and $4.5 million. So that's great. That's awesome. We'll do predictions and then we'll go into winners and losers. Predictions for signings for tomorrow.
I'm going to say Kenny Galladay. I want to say the Eagles, but I'm going to say the Giants.
Okay.
That's my prediction. I don't know what teams have been rumored to be looking at Kenny Galladay, but I don't know. I could see Galladay on the Giants, as much as I would hate to say that, but that's my prediction.
I'll make a prediction that if he doesn't get signed tomorrow, I think Juju might be back in Pittsburgh. I think I saw something where people, I think you might have liked it or retweeted or something, and I kind of agreed with it, that if the longer Juju is announced to not be signed, I think the greater the chances that he gets back with the Steelers.
Yep,
I don't
like
know
that tweet.
I don't know what the details of that contract would be.
It'd be
but
1 year, I think.
Yeah, I think because, like we were saying, with the whole like the amount that he's going to get paid with how much Corey Davis made, I think the only team he would take any like 1 year with probably would be Pittsburgh. I think otherwise he'd try to take a multi-year deal. And it just depends on if the team wants to pay him that or not.
I don't think tomorrow. I think it's going to be a little calmer. I don't think we're going to get any big names tomorrow. I think Kenny Galladay and Juju will come later in the week. We might get Mike Hilton. I think we'll sign tomorrow somewhere because he's already rumored with Cincinnati. Obviously, I think Banner is they'll announce something with Banner. I think a lot of old quarterbacks won't get signed tomorrow. I think a lot of running backs will get looked at and be rumored to go to teams, but I don't think they'll sign it probably until Wednesday-ish. But
yeah.
Going on to biggest winners and losers, New England has to be a winner.
Yes.
They hit a home run today with the signings. And then
the other winner?
I see New England's obviously it's the one up here, and then I can't really think of one in second.
To be honest, this could be me with my bias. Patrick Mahomes getting Joe Tooney. I think they
so the Chiefs
proving, just it just proves again that just like they were like they shouldn't have gotten him, but they did anyway.
Yeah, I can see the Chiefs being a big winner. I almost want to put the Titans up there, but losing Jonnu Smith and Corey Davis, I can't. So
maybe the Jets.
The Jets I think could be a good winner.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put New England and the Jets with getting Carl Lawson and Corey Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And then
losers, Packers.
Yeah.
I'm putting
just with the signing of Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I hate it. I don't think it's a good signing.
I don't think I put Green Bay as a loser because that signing came out yesterday, and we're talking 2 days ago technically, since today's Tuesday.
Okay.
I'm gonna put Pittsburgh as obviously as a loser.
I was gonna put Cincy as a loser too.
I was gonna say right now I think we're one of the losers.
See, I don't know if I really consider that with Trey Hendrickson being a step up from Carl Lawson. I almost want to put Philly with Pittsburgh because of the loss of Jalen Mills and not even trying to get a receiver.
And Rudy Ford. We also lost
Rudy Ford. But Pittsburgh lost Matt Filer. We lost Bud Dupree. Juju's trying to go somewhere else. Mike Hilton's rumored with Cincy. I think Pittsburgh is one of the losers for technically yesterday.
We extended VG.
Yeah.
We're gonna go 1 year.
Did
Go on.
not see that. But I did want to make, I think, 2 points with the Bengals, though. One, just to double check, I went back and looked at the Carl Lawson deal just to double check it because I couldn't remember the details from, the free agency frenzy today. I forgot that it was a 3-year deal and instead of a 4-year deal, and it was 45 instead of 60. So the average value should be the same every year as with Hendrickson. After looking at that again, I'm honestly not too mad. I think it's about the same annual rate. I'm not sure what the guaranteed dollars are, but again, just with my familiarity with Lawson, I guess I just kind of would have preferred him, but I'm hoping Hendrickson is a bit of an upgrade. And I kind of think the Bengals you might see them take some guys tomorrow. I know it was what they did last year, and I think it's what they've done in the past. They never really do anything day 1, but like day 2 and 3 is where they do most of their signings. I think they're going to try to pick up some guys tomorrow. I don't know if they're going to get any big names. I mean, God, what are some of the offensive linemen they're still out there? I mean, Trent Williams is still needing a place to call home, but he's going to want more than Joe Thuney got. And I mean, he probably deserves it. But, I think there's a lot of guys like that I saw that they could probably still get. So I think they'll try to make some moves tomorrow.
Yeah, and I don't see Pittsburgh pulling any new free agents coming in tomorrow. Well, I guess technically today, but I see a lot. I see re-signs with them, but they don't usually do much work until really a week after it all hits. But I don't know. We ain't got hardly any money, so it'd be nice if we can get John Brown and Marlon Mack. I'll call it a decent free agency.
My goal for tomorrow still is get a couple of offensive linemen, just starter caliber, starting caliber offensive linemen.
Kenny Galladay.
Understandable.
That was my goal.
And aside from that, if we could snag Mike Hilton and re-sign William Jackson, I think that would be huge. I think that'd be huge for our secondary.
No,
we're signing William Jackson.
That'd be nice signing to get William Jackson. I know Pittsburgh really liked him before the draft, but that's not going to happen. I think we're going to end the podcast here. We went way over than we originally planned. We had 15 minutes. We're about to hit 40.
Oh,
yep.
So it's a good thing we did not put all of this into a bigger podcast because we would spend the majority of the time talking about free agency. So you can see my mouse in the podcast. Hey, I'm touching Jacob's face. I'm scratching his nose. And I'm scratching Gavin's nose. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and end it there. Thank you guys for joining. This is Free Agency Podcast Update Day 1, Monday, March 15th. It'll be out the 16th, but you know the vibes. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Goodbye.
bye.
Goodbye.